The one-third rule is so advantageous when it comes to real estate construction and pricing goods and services, especially right now when tariffs are the big talk. And one of the biggest issues that we face right now is the fear of the increase of goods and services on our shelves at the grocery store, at the supply houses, at Home Depot, in every place that we go in and we're purchasing, especially as you being a real estate investor and somebody who's interested in buying land, building houses, or buying land and building apartment complexes. This is extremely important for you to know. One of the biggest things right now with tariffs is people are sitting back and they're freaking out about the increased cost of goods at the end result of the retailer. So let me explain this to you and how it actually works in construction. Now, this is a great rule of thumb. Is this perfect across the nation? No, but it's really close to how real construction is taught. In fact, when we use the one-third rule, I go in with my staff when I hire new estimators that are out selling projects. I teach them, the first thing I teach them is the one-third rule on how to estimate. So when you go in, 1/3 of the overall total cost is going to be for materials. 1/3 is going to be for labor, and 1/3 is gross profits, okay? Not net profits, gross profits. They're still overhead in the office and other stuff, okay? Now, when we take an overall bid, let's say that on materials, let's say the bid is for $30,000 for a foundation or whatever it is, okay? Let's say it's for lumber package, whatever that is. Now, when we go in and we're assessing this $30,000, because it's 1/3, that you're gonna have to take into account the $10,000 of the materials. Okay? Now, if we go in on a retail basis and we look at the tariffs, and let's say that an 8% tariff has been put on a good or service, like lumber for sake of example, we go in, we know that the overall cost, maximum cost, is going to be $800 because it's an 8% increase based on the tariffs. Okay, so we have an 8% increase based on the tariff. That means it's going to be $10,800 for the materials. Or is it? Because it's not the retail price that those tariffs are being paid on when they come in over the borders. It's the actual distribution price of what the value of that asset is that's being imported before it gets to the retailer. So 75% is held up in middleman's markup. Middleman's markup means freight and distribution. So by the time it goes from a train or a boat or a semi-truck, then it goes to a local distributor, which is like the semi-truck, they go into your local market. Then they drop it off in a hub. They move it from one semi-truck to a local distributor. That local distributor picks up that product and then sends it over to whoever's going to retail that project. Home Depot, Boise, Lowe's, whoever your lumber supplier is or your end distributor is going to be the one that it gets to the end point. Now, all of that distribution, all of those delivery fees, all of that has to be picked up someplace at the end of the line at the retailer. Now, the tariff is going to be, if it's 25%, $200. So if we have a $30,000 bid, the reality is that your bottom line expense due to the tariffs is $10,200 of additional cost on material is a good rule of thumb. You add that back in, now you have a bid for $30,200, okay? Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's small in comparison when you're building a house. The tariffs are going to affect you minimally at the end of the line. The reason you need to know that is because your contractors will take advantage of you. Once a contractor hears that prices are going up, instantly they sit back and go, well, I'm raising my prices too. This is what happened during COVID. So we gave contractors a pushback for a short time until labor started going up as well. Right now, labor is not expensive. There's an inventory surplus of marketable assets that are on the market in the multifamily space, retail space, and warehouse space that got overbuilt too quickly right before the downturn in the economy with increased interest rates. Now, let me explain that to you. Housing, we don't have a surplus of inventory. Housing, there is not enough inventory on the market right now. But what happens is when you have a city and 10,000 units goes on the market all at the exact same time, you just don't turn key and flip on a switch and 10,000 people like robots jump in and go move into those 10,000 units nationwide. There's marketing, there's sales, there's move-in time. And so you're leasing these things up a few a week. And so when you do that in a multiplying effect, it takes several years to get that inventory full. Is there a need for it? Yes. Is it going to get filled? Absolutely. But what is the threshold of time? And so what's happened, guys, is that the absorption rate time now is in full effect. We're about a year into about a 2-year of inventory absorption that's taking place in some of the largest Sunbelt states across the United States. Areas like Miami, areas like Texas, areas like Phoenix, areas like California, areas like Salt Lake City, Utah, is on the Sunbelt state. Those areas have grown so much, they're really starting to feel the absorption take place on these brand new builds. So here's what's happening, guys. We have about 12 to 16 months of absorption time to still take advantage of. Tariffs are going to come, they're going to go. Things will settle, the dust will settle, and God willing, in the next 12 months, the tariffs will be a thing of the past and we'll start moving forward. And during this time, while we're waiting for that to actually happen, take advantage of the compression in the market. We have employers that have 200 employees sitting on their payroll, 100 employees sitting on their payroll, 50 employees sitting on their payroll, that now builders, developers can't get projects to pencil because the cost of debt, the cost of money is too expensive. They can't afford to make the project go. So the projects are completely stagnant. Now, this is happening across the entire United States because of the increase of treasuries and the increase of the cost of money. You can't get it because interest rates have went up, cap rates have went up, values have dropped down in commercial assets, projects don't pencil, employees get laid off. And because of this, employers are trying to just hang on to their staff. And so they're willing to work on a much more reasonable threshold of labor today than they were even 12 months ago. And so the tariffs might only cost you $30,200, but what if you go in and you have this other 1/3 of profit that you have the ability to slightly negotiate? And what if that 1/3 drops down to a 10% margin? You go in and you drop this 1/3 to a 10% margin on the gross amount, that's a $3,000 savings right there alone. You just took this to $27,200 based on employers just trying to hang on to their staff. I'd much rather see this than this right here. This is a drop in the bucket. That is substantial. You'd multiply that times 20 different trades on a single family build. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a total of $60,000 in savings over an entire build. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what needs to happen in order for you to take advantage of the current state of the market today. Most people won't teach you this. Most people won't tell you this. But this is the reality of how tariffs really work, not how it works on CNBC, Fox News, or CBS. That's all bullshit. What's real, guys, is this. This is how tariffs really work. This is the real effects of it. And what ends up happening, contractor will go in and instead of the $3,200 increase, the retailer will come in and add an extra $500 premium, take that back up to $30,700. The end contractor will add another $2,000-$3,000. So you need to know this so that when they do that to you, you could go in, dispute it, negotiate with them, and get that price down, and not only go down to where we were before, but negotiate down their margins because everybody's doing it. If you're a residential contractor right now, as God is my witness, I know 100% of you guys, if you're a painter, a landscaper, a concrete person, a drywall person, if you're going out and doing anything in the service industry right now, and you're a trade contractor in the residential sector, there is blood in the water right now because people are giving work away at labor cost. They're giving it away for this right now. And this is out. And so what's happening, guys, is these contractors right now are already aware that there's compression in the market. The market is sensitive because of the administration change. They're sensitive because of the tariffs. They're sensitive because of all the bullshit that's been happening in our economy the last several years. And I'll tell you guys that this is the time to shed cost and expenses and take advantage of building for less. When your build costs just a few months ago were at $160 a square foot for a beautiful home, we could take those prices back down to $150, $155 a square foot, put that extra money into your pockets and out of your bottom line. And ladies and gentlemen, when you do this, that's how you compound your money and you also compound your success. Look, for more tips and tricks of the trades to be able to learn what the current market circumstances are pressing against you right now and to find solutions to how market circumstances are pressing against you right now, then click and subscribe to my YouTube channel and I'll keep pouring into you guys information and wisdom and knowledge that'll take you to the finish line with success and profitability. Click and subscribe, pound that thumbs up button, give me some love, and let's go out and let's compound our success.